Welcome back to another episode of the Realness Meets Logic podcast. I'm your host, Avrion, and we are going to get into this new episode titled Acceptance. Now, when you hear the word acceptance, where does your mind go? Where does your mind go? What do you think about? What are your thoughts when you hear the word acceptance? What does the word acceptance mean to you? Let's be honest with ourselves, okay? All right. So we're going to have different sections in this episode to help break down this theme, just as we did the last one, all right? Let's get into it. All right. So taking yourself out of the box. I know you may be thinking, what does that mean? What does it mean to take yourself out of the box? And are you even in a box that you would have to take yourself out of? Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But a lot of us are in boxes that either we put ourselves in and we know that and we're aware of that, or society puts us in certain boxes that we're unaware of and don't really acknowledge, even though it may affect us in our own different ways. All right. So a lot of us do things in our lives that don't truly work for us because those things are socially accepted and expected. Be honest with yourself. Is there something that you do in your life or that you are currently experiencing in your life that you know does not work for you and you know does not truly satisfy you or pour into you? Is that something that you're doing because it's expected of you by whoever? Rather that's your parents or your family or people that you don't even know, like society as a whole, or that societal norm or that societal expectation. Are there things that you are doing or attempting to indulge in that you know is not really your jam? Like, you know, it's not really who you are, but it's the thing to do, even though it's not the thing that you truly want to do. For instance, you could be going to the club every weekend, and not to say that that's a bad thing, because it's not. That fulfills other people. That fulfills people that it fulfills. I know some people who goes out and they go to these clubs and these types of fast-paced environments, and it gives them life. It's where they can release and they can relax and they can let their hair down, and it pours into them. That type of space and that type of environment pours into them. But it may not pour into you in that same way. But you might be there just as much as the people that it naturally pours into, because you may feel that that's the thing to do on a Saturday night or a Friday night, or that that's what being outside is supposed to look like. Life is not a one-size-fits-all type of experience. We all have different things that work for us. Society may put us in these cookie cutter boxes, but our personalities are not cookie cutter. And that's going to be in the next section of this podcast episode. But wrapping this part up, I do want to say that you should try to find things that work for you. Even dating. Like, are you a monogamous person? Because let's be real. That's like a European thing, like monogamy. I know I'm a very monogamous man. That's how I am naturally. That's what works for me right now. Maybe that'll change down the line. I don't know. But as of right now, I know that I'm a one woman man, and that works for me. I get flack I have gotten flack for that from like my brothers and stuff like that because they would deal with multiple women. That's them, and I am me. And I'm okay with that. I do what works for me. But if you don't feel like that's what really works for you naturally, try exploring different things that work for you. And this can go to so many different things in our lives, from how we spend our time to what pours into us socially. For instance, going outside and being outside. Instead of going to the club, maybe you want to go to a karaoke night, or maybe you just want to go out to eat that night, or go to the movies with some friends, or go to the mall, or just be outside, like actually outside with some good music playing at a festival, or something that's more interactive and engaging, rather than forcing yourself to be in situations and experiencing things that you know do not work for you just because it works for other people. And that's the type of experience that is popular. Now, for some people, that may truly give them life and it may truly pour into them. But if you know that that does not have that same effect for you, find something else that does work for you and that does pour into you. All right? Now we're going to get into how human personalities are layered, not labels. So, using labels when trying to describe someone's personality limits the experience you can get from that person that you are labeling. Have you ever seen someone and just automatically labeled them in your mind? Now, sometimes these labels are good. Like sometimes people could be up to no good or have certain things going on in their lives that's not the most appropriate or attractive to be around. And that's when, discernment comes in. Like you being real, like somebody could be a sex offender or, like we don't want to judge. It's such a thin line, but that's when discernment comes into play. You want to have discernment, but you also don't want to focus too much on prejudging too much. Judge just enough, especially if it's out of your safety. But if it's like, oh, that person a lame, or oh, he's just quiet, or oh, he a nerd, oh, he introverted, oh, he's an introvert, you know? Oh, that's an extrovert. Like these labels, that those types of labels that we put on ourselves can be limiting. So when you instantly label somebody with that, like, oh, he a lame. Oh, he don't like to talk to nobody. Oh, he's an introvert. Whatever. You're catching that person in that moment. And our brains work in a way that make us think that that's enough. That whatever we experienced from that person is all that we can experience from that person. When that's not the case. Because I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm really not feeling it, and I'm an energy person, so if the energy don't feel right, I'm not going to force myself to participate in something that I don't want to participate in until I'm ready to participate in it. I'm a very laid back person. But to other people, that can come off as me being an introvert, which I'm not. I am very introspective. I am reflective, as you can see through this podcast. I have to have some kind of a active inner world to even make content like this with this level of substance, but that doesn't make me an introvert. Sometimes I want to go out. Sometimes I want to go to the club. Sometimes I want to go to karaoke nights and have a good time, drink a little bit, have fun. And then other times I may want to be in a house and I want to read a book and I want to watch movies all day and I want to just watch TV all day and my phone's on do not disturb. And I really don't like being on the phone having actual phone calls like that because it takes so much of my time. Now, if I'm genuinely cool with somebody, we could have like a decent little phone call, but I'm not really a phone person. I'm more of an in-person kind of guy. But you won't really know that until you get to know me. Like, ask me some questions. Like, some of us take time to warm up to other people. And some of us may not have the patience to deal with that. And that's okay. And that's when those types of people that do need that extra time to warm up may not be your cup of tea. And that's fine. But understand that there's a lot more to that person than what you're just getting in that first interaction and in that first moment. Some people give it all, some people just throw it all out there and they just automatically just give you them and all of their energy and their excitement and their personality all in that one moment. And you got some that give you a little bit here, give you a little bit there, throw a little splash here, a little splash there, get this side of the personality, that side of the personality. Because to know me is to understand me. And I am a very layered person. And I feel like I've been misunderstood in different ways and mislabeled and misjudged because of how I appear and how I present myself naturally. Like I am a very reserved person. I'm real cool and I'm real down to earth. Like I can have a conversation with pretty much anybody about anything. Like, I'm a very down to earth, grounded person, but I don't just give all of that from meeting somebody just the first time, unless that person has the kind of energy or personality that brings that out of me on that first meeting. So, not only does us labeling other people and being quick to judge them off of those first moments limits the experience that we can get from them, but also when we put labels on ourselves, we limit the natural expression that we have, that we can experience for ourselves from ourselves. Because certain labels create ceilings that block us from experiencing and expressing ourselves authentically. For instance, I'm gonna be honest. So I've been like questioning myself a lot, asking myself these different questions, and I've been watching this guy on YouTube, and he's considers himself to be an introvert. And some of the content, a lot of the content actually was resonating with me. I'm like, wait a minute, I might be an introvert because I do have a social battery that drains a little bit. If there's like a lot going on, I could get overstimulated. I feel like a lot of us can, and I do relate to some of the things that he talks about in his content. Salute to that brother. However, there were some videos that he was very passionate about, some other like ways of how he is and connecting that to him being an introvert that I didn't agree with. That I was like, wait a minute, I don't know about that one. Like the other 15 videos, I'm like, yeah, that's me for sure. I feel that. Absolutely. Yes. But then when I started watching more videos and he was, expressing himself authentically because that's how he is. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm an introvert. It sounded good for a while. It did. And when I adapted that personality to my mind, it kind of limited me when I was like in person with people. 'Cause I'm like, oh, I'm adapting this thing. How this person was saying how, he don't really like talking to people, this, that, and the third. And the mind is so powerful, you know, especially when you set your mind on something and wanting to be or present a certain way, your mind is going to make that possible for that to be a reality for you. Because I'm a very social person. And I actually like to talk. I like to study people. I like to get to know people. I like to understand what make people tick, and I also don't mind small talk in surface level conversation. And he was basically saying how much he don't like small talk and how he don't like talking to people or initiating conversations. And when I adapted that into my brain and made that my personality, that became my reality, even though that's not naturally how I am. So where I noticed myself like shying away from people in certain conversations and not initiating conversations that I really wanted to have and I really was interested in getting to know whatever person, crossed my path because I had in my mind that I'm this introvert and whatever that person identified an introvert being. Not to say that introverts are like that because that's a social thing. Introvert is just how you process, like you're processing internally, and how do you express yourself? How do you process things? How do you receive energy? How do you maintain energy? How do you gain energy? Most of those things with introverts, it's internal. So it doesn't really have anything to do with social capacity. It's just about how do you recharge yourself and what feels good to you. And do you do more things that pour into you internally when you like doing things more when you're with yourself in solitude? Or do you get recharged and feel better when you're around others and doing things externally? That's introvert and extrovert, in a nutshell. But I say all that to say that the mind is powerful and you don't want to be so quick to label yourself certain things because there's so much more to our personalities. These labels are literally just given to us by society to put us in these boxes because it's easier to just group everyone up or group people into these under these different labels and say, boom, that's your personality. Boom, that's the type of person I'm dealing with. Boom, that's that type of person. When that's not even completely true. They may be a mixture of both, as a lot of us actually are. But labeling literally takes the it takes away the desire to want to know more and wanting to put more work into understanding who a person truly is. Think of it like an actual cardboard box, right? If you have 100 cardboard boxes and let's say a warehouse, all of these boxes have different things inside of them. If you didn't have any labels on them, what would you have to do? You have to put in that extra effort to open those boxes and see what's inside of those boxes. You got to remove the packaging. You got to remove the plastic, remove the wrapping paper, remove all these different things to get to what is at the core of the thing inside of that box. Consider whatever is inside of that box a person. And then all those different things, the wrapping paper, the plastic, and all these different things covering whatever item is inside that box, consider that the different layers that that person has to offer and is going to naturally reveal over time, showing the uniqueness of our human experience. Personalities are not the same. They are not cookie cutter. They are unique. Now, back to the example of having those boxes in the warehouse, right? If we put a label on them and each label says, let's say 5 boxes say glass, and then the other boxes say wooden stuff, and then the other boxes say miscellaneous items, and then another group of boxes say furniture. All right. So let's look at the furniture boxes, right? So it's 10 different boxes that say furniture. But each of those boxes that has the label furniture on them have different pieces of furniture with different sets of quality of fabric and what makes up that entire item. Again, that item is people. That item is a person. Now, if you have that label and you just say, oh, it's furniture, you're not going to want to open that box and see what kind of furniture is in there. You're going to be like, oh, that's furniture. Okay, boom. We're going to put it where we need to put it. And that can limit your experience with some of the people that you meet in this life. Take that label off. Open the box. Be patient with that box if you genuinely want to do that and genuinely want to get to know that person. Because I guarantee you, the first time you meet somebody, that's not truly all that they are. And if you meet that person and you decide, oh, okay, this is cool enough for me and this is good for me, I don't even really want to know this person any further than what I've gotten from the first impression, cool. That's fine. But for those that you really want to get to know and you really want to get to know people and you don't want to just deal with them on a surface level, take that label off. Open that box and see what's inside. All right. We're not going to be too long with this podcast. We're going to get into our last segment, which is being gracefully authentic. Sometimes we don't express or embrace ourselves honestly because we don't want to make a mistake or feel out of place in the eyes of others. So again, society has like this underlining pressure and anxiety to show up a certain way, to be accepted by the masses of people. And to be accepted, typically you have to do the things that are quote unquote expected of you to do or for you to do, whichever. And when you go outside that box and you express yourself authentically, you may make mistakes in the eyes of others. And you may be placed or feel out of place in the eyes of others. And that's okay, because that's how you grow. Because when we allow ourselves to make and face our mistakes, we open ourselves to gracefully grow and better understand ourselves, our desires, and our needs. How can you truly gain your wants and needs and understand what it is you want and need for yourself if you're not even being yourself? How? And how can somebody else give you that, what you truly want or need, if you're not being yourself? If you're not expressing yourself honestly? It's impossible. No one is a mind reader. And being real, you probably felt it in different situations with different people. You operating in a way that's not authentic to you, you're going to feel like something's missing. Like there's something that's just not there. Or like something that's just not hidden. Like it ain't hidden. It ain't hitting that spot. It don't feel right, you know? And I'm speaking figuratively, of course. And like it's just something that's missing. You don't know what that something is, but you just know that there's something missing that's not pouring into you at your core. And that's when you have to allow yourself to express yourself authentically and to exist and be yourself authentically so that you can get a better understanding of what you want, of what you need to feel better, to feel added on to feel whole, to feel complete. And then finally, being authentic requires grace and patience. I'm going to leave that there. All right. This has been episode 6 of the Realness Meets Logic podcast. Follow us on Instagram at realness_meets_logic. Follow us on TikTok at realness_meets_logic. And continue to listen to these episodes on Spotify. And if you have not tapped in, tap in, share these episodes with your friends, with your family, and whoever you feel this message resonates with. I'm not here to save you. I'm here to give you tools that has been given to me to give to you for you to save and better yourself. All right. This is your host, Avrion, signing off. Share these episodes to those you feel it resonates with. And let's keep on giving a gift that keeps on going, baby. All right? I'm out. Peace.